Hi Aquarius, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your July 2025 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's the Celtic cross spread as always, and also pulled the Four Agreements and Wisdom of the Oracle card for you guys. But we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have Sagittarius. So for you guys, Sagittarius is actually your 11th house of friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes. That area of the zodiac's a little quiet. We did just have a full moon there recently, though, so maybe you're still feeling the residual effects of that. Well, yeah, speaking of Sagittarius, we have 11, so that is your 11th house. And we have Uranus. So Uranus is actually a ruined planet, and it's going to be moving from Taurus into Gemini on the 7th of July. So you could definitely feel that change for sure, given that it's going to go into a more supportive energy for your sign, and it's also your ruined planet. So you might be feeling a shift around that time for sure. All right, so we'll keep all that in mind as we go through the main spread. If I could pick up the cards. There we go. In the main situation position, we have the High Priestess, and then challenging that, we have the Ace of Wands. So what I'm seeing with this could just be saying that you might be relying on your intuition this month, and the challenge there is it could just be one of those things where you want to take action around a certain situation, but you almost feel like you get stuck in a loop where you're too heavily relying on your intuition, because sometimes it could be hard to merge the energies of intuition and action together, so that could be where your struggle is going to be a little bit this month. But yeah, it looks like ultimately there is something you want to take action on, but you're just trying to rely on your intuition to figure out when the right time to do so would be. In the foundation position, we have the Eight of Cups. So this is Pisces energy here. So it could just be saying you might have left something behind recently, possibly something that you put a lot of time and energy into as well, but you might have felt like it just wasn't really going to be able to go any further. In the past position, we have the Emperor. So yeah, so for some of you, you could still be adjusting to being in this High Priestess energy, because to me this says that in the past you might have been a lot more decisive, right? So you might have been a little bit more impulsive and ready to take action on the situation right away, but now you feel like a lot more withdrawn and introspective when it comes to these things, and it could actually be a little bit of a point of frustration for you now to adjust to that. All right, in the present position, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is actually Jupiter energy here, and Jupiter was in Gemini for a while, and now it's recently moved into Cancer, so that's actually in your 6th house of work, health, daily routines. So yeah, so especially if this is some kind of shift you want to make around those areas of life, it could just be saying that now the timing would be right to do so. All right, in the near future position, we have the King of Wands. So yeah, so this could just be saying that for some of you, it might take until we get into Leo season, so that'll be starting closer to the end of July, but at the very least, it looks like this is saying you will be feeling a little bit more decisive, like you're not just locked into solely relying on your intuition, and that you actually can take action when needed. Right. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Page of Pentacles. So yeah, it could just be saying that you might feel like something's just out of your reach at this time. Maybe a goal that you've set for yourselves. Of course, it could be financial, given that we do see the pentacle there. But yeah, it could be almost any area of life. And that's where maybe it's tricky for you, right? Where it's like with that Ace of Wands and the challenge, you're like, okay, you're close, right? Intuitively, you might have figured out what the approach would be, but for whatever reason, it's just trying to overcome that last hurdle to actually take the action. In the environment position, we have the Ace of Cups. So yeah, so this for some of you, this could even be around potentially wanting to enter into a romantic partnership, and maybe there's some hesitancy on your part to do that, right? And then again, like I said, it could still be one of those things that might be thrown off your loop, because in the past you might have been very confident and just pursuing people that you were interested in, but for whatever reason here, even though there's the desire to do so, you might just feel a little bit more hung up. And maybe because you went through a disappointment in the past in that area of life, so now you're like a little bit more reluctant to just jump into something, even though there's a part of you that still feels that pull to want to do so. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Lovers. So this is Gemini energy here. So yeah, again, this could be an indicator. For some of you, this is ultimately around your desire to enter into a romantic connection. But it could even be for some of you, looking at the Emperor versus the High Priestess, right? It could even just be saying for some of you, hoping to be able to balance that energy within yourself, your feminine and your masculine sides, right? So that way, so when you do need to take action on something, you're able to. But then, yeah, when you do need to stay in a more receptive mode, maybe rely more heavily on your intuition, you could do that as well, right? So you might feel like you went from one extreme to the next, and now you're just hoping to find some kind of balance between the two. All right. In the outcome position, we have the Seven of Cups. So this is Scorpio energy here. And yeah, could just be saying that you might just ultimately be feeling a little bit confused, a little bit out of sorts, right? And then maybe in that regard, it might be a positive that you don't feel quite ready to act on something, because if you're not seeing the situation clearly, then this might not be the ideal time to act anyway. And this does remind me of the fact that we will have Mercury retrograde pretty much around the middle of July in your opposite sign of partnerships, contracts, or relationships. So yeah, could just be saying that maybe any delays you're feeling might be for a bigger reason at this time. All right. Bottom of the deck, we have the Empress. So yeah, this could just be saying that you might be feeling called to actually just stay in a more open, receptive mode this month. So again, like I said, on the one hand, that could be a positive, and that's probably why we see the High Priestess in the main situation position. But it could just be, because you're more used to taking proactive approaches to things, it's a little bit harder for you to just try to stay open and not jump in and act on something. All right, so from the Four Agreements deck, we have Be Impeccable with Your Word, and it says Replace Fear with Love. Right? It says the human mind is like a fertile ground where seeds are continually being planted. When you are impeccable with your word, your mind is no longer fertile ground for the words that come from fear. Your mind is only fertile for the words that come from love. So interesting message there, right? So yeah, this could be another indicator that for some of you, maybe this is more of a situation around a romantic connection. But either way, I mean, I feel like it's also just referring to love in a bigger sense. So yeah, so for some of you, if this hesitation on your part is more fear-based, right? Like I said, maybe because if you went through that disappointment in the past with the Eight of Cups, could just be saying that, the goal will be to shed that fear there, and then that'll help you move forward in a positive manner. All right, and then from the Wisdom Oracle, we have Deep Knowing. So this definitely makes me think of the High Priestess energy, so we'll see if there's a connection there. But there you go, there's the artwork for it, and the number is 43. So we'll see what this has to say. All right. Essential meanings. It says intuition, listening to the oracle within, empathy, hypersensitivity. The oracle's message. Intuition is the faculty that allows you to enter into a dialogue with Source, the consciousness that you are a part of but cannot see with the naked eye. It's perplexing that people are taught to ignore this natural capacity to navigate their journeys, to access their inner guidance. Know that you have the ability to read between the lines and find all the truth that was missing when the story was told. This deep knowing allows you to open the door to wisdom far greater than what is available in the limitations of human experience. You're given information that may make no sense whatsoever to the logical mind or five senses, but which is 100% correct and true. The trick is to listen and then to act accordingly. You're now invited into the sacred dialogue of deep knowing, so tune in and trust your vibes. They will be right. Ask and you will receive answers from unusual sources. So interesting message there where it said the trick is to listen and then to act accordingly. That basically sounds exactly like the two energies we have there with the High Priestess and then the Ace of Wands being the challenge to that. So yeah, I could just be saying that that's the hurdle you guys might have to overcome is to actually get comfortable with trusting your intuition when it is leading you in a certain direction. And that does remind me also of the fact that you guys are going to have a full moon in your 12th house on July 10th or 11th, I believe. So that could be a significant shift for you guys there too. So be on the lookout for that. All right. The relationship message says there are occasions when you just know deep in your heart and soul that a person is going to play a meaningful role in your life. Someone crosses your path and suddenly, out of the blue, you're connected at a level impossible to describe. That feeling marks a moment in time etched indelibly onto your soul. Someone has entered your life who will be instrumental in your journey, so pay attention. Two hearts are calling to each other to begin an alchemical process. This is also a sign that your intuition about the person you care about is correct. Trust your heart to lead you now. Magic is about to happen. So yeah, definitely a positive message there as well. So for those of you looking for relationship guidance, hopefully that resonated. And then lastly, we have the prosperity message that says this is a time when your hunches will pay large dividends if you listen to them, take the risk, and act accordingly. Within you, there is an oracular consciousness, a higher and deeper knowing that transcends the imaginations of the smaller thinking mind. At the deep level of your intuitive senses, you have an access point to the genius of the collective. The energies of all thinkers and creators, all inventors and leaders, and all that you need in order to leap into success are available to tune into. This is an act of listening intently. Past the busy mind, your genius awaits. So definitely an interesting message there because that definitely makes me think of what we were saying as far as your ruling planet Uranus will be moving from your 4th house of Taurus into your 5th house of Gemini on the 7th of July. And for you guys, that would be a house that's a lot more linked to creativity. So hope that resonates for you guys. We'll wrap up there and I'll see you all next month. All right.